And now, a Daystar special presentation.
Today on Daystar Sports, we talk to a group of former NBA and college basketball standouts that are taking the game and the love of Christ around the world. Sportspower International is made up of basketball players whose main goal is to motivate and spread the gospel to the youth of all the nations. And we've got founder Bill Alexson, as well as Sportspower teammates and former NBA players Anthony Bonner and Armin Gilliam to tell us more about it. Don't touch that dial. Daystar Sports starts now. Welcome back to Daystar Sports. I'm Joe Nanowski, and joining me today is a man who has made it his mission to change lives, one basketball game at a time. After a successful playing career in Greece, he left his playing days behind to start the NBA Chapel program, and today he runs Sportspower International. So let's welcome to Daystar Sports, Bill Alexson. Bill, it's great to have you here.
Great to be here, Joe.
Well, we're going to jump into you being a pro basketball player in Greece, but let's go back a little bit before that. So how did you start playing basketball, and when did you know you had a talent, and were you tall to begin with?
Well, I was fairly tall from my hometown, Ipswich, Massachusetts, but I loved the Celtics, Bill Russell and all those guys, and I loved basketball. I'd be out shelving off my driveway, playing till midnight. Sometimes my neighbors roll up the windows and say, "Billy, go to bed," because the ball would be bouncing, you know. And I'm in my hometown. I've got a girlfriend. I'm going to go to college to play basketball. I'm a big fish in a small pond. And my religious experience up to that was I was an altar boy at the Greek Orthodox Church, but they didn't speak English. One day I'm downtown, and there's a street preacher, and he's preaching the gospel of Jesus Christ. Part of me is going, wow, I'm finally getting the answers I'm looking for my days in church. But it scared me because I thought, gee, if I do what this guy says, I'll end up like him. My friends were swearing at him, telling him to go home. He looks like he's making a fool out of himself outdoors, and I'm believing it. But I was smart enough that I made the decision. I said, Bill, what difference does it make if you play basketball, make some money, get married, whatever, and then you die, and you end up in hell, or you miss out on your true purpose for being on this planet? So I swallowed it hard, and I asked Jesus to be my Savior. Didn't feel anything. I didn't have anybody reinforcing it. But it changed my life, and I thank God because we can trust the one that died on the cross for us.
So you're not too removed from your basketball days. Tell me, when did you launch you into where you got to go overseas to play?
I probably was in my early 20s, went over to Greece, and it's funny because I was at a basketball camp as a counselor, and this fellow by the name of John Galeris came to me, and I said, John, where have you been? He said, I've been playing basketball in Greece. I said, you're kidding me. Tell me about it. He said, well, they pay me money. We play in big stadiums. We play in other countries. Am I good enough to play over there? He says, yeah, you're good enough to play. But the problem is they only allow 2 Americans, so you've got to have contacts and beat out those Americans. He walked away. I said, I don't think I could ever make the NBA, but God, He says I could play over there. Somehow you got to make it happen for me, please. Do you know that about a month later, I got a phone call at 4 a.m. in the morning. Bill, this is Chris and Agnes, your teammate from college. I came over to Greece for a vacation. I tried out for this team. I made it. And I told the owner about you, and I got a round-trip ticket for you to come. Can you come? I said, yes, I can come. And I went over there and did pretty good the first year. The second year, the owner was all excited. He said, Bill, next year we're going to pay you more money, going to bring back more Americans. It's going to be great. You can play here 5 or 7 years. During the playoffs, the first round, a guy low-bridged me on a dirty play, sprained my ankle, didn't even call timeout, went back to my little apartment in Greece, got down on my knees. I said, Lord, I've always had basketball. I'm not good enough for the NBA. It's not working out here. Please show me what you have for me. Thy will be done. And I got scared, Joe. I said, I really mean this prayer. I might go to Africa and die of malaria as a missionary, or go to China, and they'll say, hey, martyr that guy, the tall guy with the big black Bible. So I said, this is the Lord. I'll do whatever you want me to do, Lord, but may I please enjoy it just like basketball. I wasn't telling him what to do, but I said, if I enjoy it like basketball, what do I care if I go to Africa? And God put me into the NBA. started the chapel program, was with the Celtics for over 20 years, and now I have the privilege of having my own team. I take them across the world because the NBA has been marketed like Coca-Cola. If I take Tony Romo from the Cowboys, A-Rod from the Yankees, and Peyton Manning from the Indianapolis Colts, they don't know who they are, they don't care. I can take a second-string NBA guy, millions of people will watch, we preach the gospel at halftime. The dignitaries, the heads of state, relate to us as fans, not suspicious politicians, and their concern is, Mr. Ellickson, now my kids are going to get pictures and autographs. Right? Mr. President, don't worry about it. You bring them right in the locker room for the game, they're going to meet everybody, it's going to be great. Oh, good, because my kids are looking forward to this. And under that environment, curiosity kicks in. Why are they here? Are they here to make money? No, they made money. Are they here trying to become famous? They're already famous. Well, evidently, what they're saying about this personal relationship with Jesus Christ to them is true. And they're thinking, I can relate to some of the things they're saying. You know, it's a lonely place at the top. Who does a president of a country have to really let his hair down? He has to be on guard at all time, but who is loving him for who he is? And I'm sure he has questions at times like, how do I deal with all this? And what happens to me when I die? I don't care if you're the president of the Soviet Union or you or I. We want to know who we are, where we come from, where we go when we die, and Jesus Christ meets all the criteria. And he's personal, he loves us, and when the ball players convey that message, not religion, a Christ that gives us grace. He gives us what we don't deserve, and he gives us mercy. He doesn't give us what we do deserve, and we can actually know him, and we're not on a performance basis, and heaven's a free gift, and he wants to empower us to what he's called us to do. That message works. The Holy Spirit takes over, and millions of people are responding, and it's just exciting.
Sports is just a disarmer. People love sports, and,
Yes.
and so it's just tremendous the avenue God has given you to go into every man's world. We want to see what happens at a Sportspower International event, so if you would, let's take a look at this. We've got a clip for you here. Check it out.
Across the U.S. and around the world, Sportspower holds first-class events drawing thousands of fans excited to see a team of top college, NBA, and former NBA players. Although the draw of the event is a full basketball game between the Sportspower team and the hosting country's national team, the Sportspower event is more than just a game. Similar to an NBA game, there are dance teams, giveaways, and dazzling halftime shows, often unlike anything the foreign spectators have ever seen. However, one key difference is that Sportspower stars have one-on-one drills and clinics, spending time with the fans from around the world. They offer suggestions, tips, they sign autographs, they give words of encouragement, and more importantly, players get to share their stories and testimonies about their love for Jesus Christ.
That's what Sportspower Challenge is all about. Winning souls to Christ, and then hopefully getting them into local churches where they can be discipled, and then they can go on and be used of God mightily.
The impression left by the Sportspower team is making a positive impact on both believers and non-believers across America and around the world.
It's great to see a lot of kids, little kids our age, adults, hear the Word of God, you know, and come from athletes such as these guys. It's tremendous.
They played really good, for one, and that they gave their testimony and they're all Christians, I thought that was really cool too.
And to see some of the backgrounds these players came from and see how much God can change your life around, it's unbelievable. It's a great testimony.
I've been going through so much, and sometimes I just don't think there is hope for me, and I wanted to give up. And I'm here, I'm just sitting here listening to all of you and realize there is more for me, that I'm not alone. And I know there's a lot of people that feel just the way I am.
Thanks to the continuously growing popularity of basketball and the world-class events run by the Sportspower team, people all over the world are hearing the gospel of Jesus Christ for the very first time.
Wow, that was exciting. Bill, it looks like you're drawing some great crowds at these Sportspower International events. What has been the response?
Well, the response is tremendous, and we usually take comment cards, especially in the United States. And they write everything but from very entertaining to they're so interesting to listen to. One ball player got a comment card, and it said, I was going to commit suicide today, but after listening to you speak, I changed my mind. That guy looked at me like, oh my gosh, it changed his life forever. I want to do this more. And when I remember we were in Miami, and we went out to eat at a restaurant. And this girl, originally from Colombia, was our waitress. I just felt led. I said, hey, what are you doing tomorrow night? Nothing. I says, would you like to come to our game? She says, well, I usually don't like sports, but you guys are good. I think I'll come over. We interviewed her afterwards. I just said to her, hey, how'd you like the game? She broke into tears. We had her on camera. And she said, you don't know what this did for my life. She said, I didn't think there was any hope for me. Evidently, she was somebody that was really hurting on the inside. Who knows if she was thinking about suicide. It changed her life. If she's the only person we reach, it's worth it. But you got sports fans, they come to be entertained, and they have such a great time. And unlike the NBA or another professional sport where the ushers say, hurry up, let's go, get to your car, move on, they come on the floor, they meet the players, they get pictures and autographs, the players love them up, and they go away saying to their dad, hey, this was a great game. Wow, it was so much fun. Thanks for taking me, Dad. And they heard the good news of Jesus Christ. Nobody throws tomatoes. It's tremendous.
Well, don't go anywhere, because up next we're going to hear from a couple former NBA players who are currently members of the Sportspower basketball team, Armin Gilliam and Anthony Bonner. They're going to join us when Daystar Sports continues. Come back. Welcome back, and if you're just tuning in, earlier we were talking to the founder of Sportspower International. Joining me now are a couple of the players from the Sportspower basketball team, Armin Gilliam and Anthony Bonner. Guys, welcome to Daystar Sports.
It was good being here, man.
Yeah, good to see you guys. Anthony, tell us about how your first basketball days early on for you. Were you a big kid? Were you a sports kid from the get-go?
Yeah, I was. I mean, you know, I grew up playing a variety of sports, mainly football. I did a little boxing. I was a Boy Scout, Cub Scout. And once I got to high school, I had a growth spurt. I hadn't played basketball. My sophomore year, I was on the B team. My junior year, I played varsity, but I didn't play very much because our team was very good. We won the state championship. And then my senior year, I practiced very hard over the summer and got a lot better. So my senior year, I went on to become the best player in the state and was nominated Mr. Basketball and was blessed to get a scholarship to play basketball.
How about you, Armin? Tell the early days of basketball for you.
I didn't have real early days. I started late. Football, track, and wrestling were my main sports. Obviously, I outgrew wrestling, so I got kind of fed up with the sport. I was too tall at the time, so I switched to basketball. My high school career wasn't all that spectacular. I had to go to junior college, and once I went to junior college, that's when things kind of took shape for me, and it was kind of uphill quickly from that point on.
When did it dawn on either of you guys that you could play pro ball?
For me, it was probably during my senior year because I was blessed to, well, actually, I go back my freshman year. A reporter by the name of Dave Dorr came in and said that the Boston Celtics were interested in a freshman by the name of Anthony Bonner. As a freshman, you don't think about that. I mean, I was nowhere near ready to be a pro, but it really sunk in my senior year because I led the nation in rebounding, and you see all these scouts on the sideline, so that's when I knew it was serious for me with all the scouts attending the games.
In college, it was kind of the same process. I wasn't a starter as a sophomore, but about the fifth game into the season, we were struggling a little bit. They put me in the lineup. I started playing, so a lot of people started telling me I was, you know, NBA material, and that in a couple years, if I kept working hard, I'd be in the league. To be honest, I didn't believe them, but by my junior year, I was on the USA basketball team. We ended up winning a gold medal, and at that point, I was pretty convinced I was going to be in the league.
What was going through your mind on draft day? Let's fast forward to that for you guys.
Well, I mean, it was an exciting process. I declined to go to New York City to attend the draft personally. I stayed at home with my mother, my father, several close friends, my agent at the time, and just watched the draft with them because it's one of those once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, and I wanted to share it with people who loved me and who played a part in the process. And then the second train of thought was I didn't want to be there just sitting and waiting on your name to be called because there was only 2 rounds in 1990. So I just wanted to just be with my family.
Anthony, have you always been a believer? Have you always known God? You grew up in church, and what was those days like growing up?
Yeah, I've always been a believer. I grew up in church, but like many people, I knew about God. I didn't intimately know God and have a relationship with him and know all the details of how to go about making it happen. And in my adult years now, since I've surrendered and had some things happen to me through the path of life and incur some scars and realized that my true identity was found in Christ, since then it's just gone to a whole nother level. You go from being a believer to an actual servant and even to another level of being a son. So I really just appreciate the process of becoming.
Life has a way of showing us how much we need something beyond ourselves. You're talented athletes. I mean, you guys are like physical specimens. You're amazing. But life has a way of getting in there. At some point, you start having that wake-up call, and you realize, wow. So NBA and the professional sports world, entertainment world, is not necessarily known for its being a bastion of integrity or purity, if you would. Not knocking anything. Just there's a lot of money. There's a lot of people just doing what they do, you know. But how has your faith affected you? How did it affect you when you were in the NBA?
I grew up in a Christian home, so I knew the right way growing up. I made a commitment to be a believer when I was 25, and from that point on, my life started to grow and develop, and I would say I was more committed each year from that point. So for me, when you're in the NBA, you have a lot of things going on, and there's a lot of distractions, and you can get caught up in a lot of things, and you see your teammates get caught up in things. For me, it was like, you know, this is something that's great. It's nice to be in the NBA. It's nice to get paid a lot of money. It's nice to use your God-given ability, but you want to keep your focus, you want to keep your integrity, and you want to keep your character, because it's something that's going to pass. And your integrity, your character, and who you are as a person and believer, that's never going to pass, and that's something you're going to have throughout eternity. So for me, it was all about keeping my focus on God.
Thanks, Armin. Anthony, what has it meant to you to be a part of Sportspower International, to go around the world, play your sport, and to tell your story?
Well, it's been powerful because you know what it displays is that if you look at the model that we have, which is Jesus Christ, is that we're viewed as these guys who have this great life and are invincible and, you know, never have any problems. But then they see us when we're able to get close to them through this ministry. And what we basically do is we come in and we're like Jesus. We come to wash your feet. You know, we're your servants. We come to show you that there's another side to us, that you can be a good person, that success doesn't have to define you because there's something more that identifies you than what you do. It's not really who you are. Who you are is found in Jesus Christ, and that you're not better than the next man. We're all here to make this thing work together.
Powerful. Listen, you're going to want to stick around to hear more of this. When we come back, we're going to talk more about Sportspower International and how they're using basketball to spread the message of the gospel around the world. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Thanks, guys. Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here with the founder of Sportspower International, Bill Alexson, along with former NBA players Anthony Bonner and Armin Gilliam. If you're just tuning in, here's what Sportspower International is all about. Watch this.
In the 110 years of its existence, the sport of basketball has gone from local YMCA youth event to a major international sport, with professional leagues in just about every developed country in the world. With its overseas popularity skyrocketing, it was just a matter of time before someone used basketball to spread the love of Christ to fans across the globe. 20 years ago, Bill Alexson, the founder of the NBA Chapel program, turned his sights from winning the souls of the NBA players to winning the souls of the NBA fans. His creation was Sportspower International. Today, Sportspower International has amassed a team of top college basketball players and former NBA and current NBA players to take the message of salvation to the masses using the game of basketball. The Sportspower team has played in places like Hungary, Poland, Cuba, Brazil, Africa, and of course all over the United States, and constantly drawing huge crowds. Fan response has been incredible. In countries where despair and deprivation reign, people are leaving a Sportspower event with salvation and hope.
Oh, that's awesome. Bill, tell us a little bit more about some of these events. What goes into planning an event? Because obviously this is a huge thing to do.
A lot of prayer, And everybody normally wants you, but you know, you have to have those right connections, or they're not going to work. And God's always faithful. For example, yesterday I met this lady says to me, "Boy, what you do is fantastic. Where are you going?" I said, "Well, actually next week I go down to Guatemala to set up a tour for next year." She says, "I'm from Guatemala. I know all the contacts there. I can help you. I'll go down and translate when you go." So I hope I'm not oversimplifying, but there's the practical side where you have to do your administrative diligence, but it's really God opening doors that you rely upon. And when He does that, that's special. And that's where the greatest impact comes.
You know, I said it to you earlier, and I don't want to kind of over-religious it, but you guys are missionaries, you know,
Yes.
but of such a cool kind. I mean, you get to do something you love, playing ball, but you're carrying the hope of heaven, you're carrying the light of God with you wherever you go, and I think it's tremendous. So what has it meant to you, Armin, to be a part of Sportspower International?
For me, playing in the NBA gives you a platform and gives you kind of credibility with people. With young people, if they see an NBA player, they're going to, listen to what they have to say, where if it's, the average pastor or just person off the street, there's kind of a little, there's a wall in there that kind of prevents them from being open to you. So for me, it's been a great opportunity to share my faith and then go out and use my God-given ability to play basketball, entertain them that way. But not only entertain them after the show, we give them something that's going to bless their life and hopefully connect them to God, and that relationship's going to be something they have the rest of their life.
Awesome. Anthony, you mentioned that also, you get to connect with the people. What has it meant to you to be able to connect on another level? Because you play basketball, you're great at that, but now you get to one-on-one with these people.
Well, you get to show them. When you asked a question earlier to Armin when he talked about his experience and how he walked when he was in the NBA, and he had a little bit more diligence and grew in his walk as the years went on. For me, I indulged in everything I could have. I partook in everything that was, offered, basically, as an athlete. And I think what we get to share is you can come as you are. You don't have to be perfect. You know what I mean? It's just like God will accept you exactly or as you are. You don't have to do a thing except come, and He will make you what it is He designed you to be.
Bill, how can somebody book Sportspower International? How can they book the team to come to their country or to an event?
They can contact us at our website, sportspower.org.
Okay.
All of our information's there, phone number, email addresses. And we do all-star games against high school all-stars in the state or a city. We do school assemblies. We do urban outreaches. We do camps, clinics. And in another country, we play national teams on national TV. Any and all the above, father and son banquets. Any opportunity to get what you heard today from these ball players in front of young people, sports fans, and just normal people.
That's phenomenal. Can we do this, Armin? Could you take just a quick second, look into the camera, and maybe give somebody a word of encouragement today, somebody maybe struggling in their faith or just whatever you feel in your heart?
Well, I would say this as an ex-player and as a person and a person that came to God at a young age. You might have all kind of challenges in your life and you might not know the way, and part of growing up is going through seasons where you're trying to figure things out. If you put your faith and you put your trust in God, He can bring you out of those dark days and out of those areas that you really don't understand, give you peace and joy, and set your life in order, and from that point you can live a blessed and prosperous life. I grew up, I had a lot of challenges. I don't have time to go into it now, but once I put my trust in God, God was faithful to me. He blessed me, He prospered me, and it had everything to do with my decision to trust Him with my life and not trust my own way. The Bible says, lean not on your own opinion or your own understanding. In all your ways, acknowledge Him, and He'll direct your path.
Beautiful.
Amen.
Beautiful. Man, thank you guys so much. We hope you've enjoyed this edition of Daystar Sports. I know you have. Be sure to catch show highlights, pictures, and more. You can visit us online at daystar.com. I'd like to thank Bill Alexson, Anthony Bonner, Armin Gilliam of Sportspower International for being here today. And remember, although you may not be able to travel across the globe to spread the gospel like these guys do, you can still be a light to the world around you just by letting Christ's love illuminate through you. I'm Joe Nanowski, and until next time, remember, to be victorious, live victorious. Thanks for watching us.
Thank you for joining us for this Daystar special presentation. If you would like to receive prayer or find out more about this broadcast, call or log on. You can also watch many of these broadcasts in full with Daystar VOD online at daystar.com.